Hi everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. How you guys doing today? It's Tuesday. The weather is not that great. It was for a minute. The sun was out. Now it looks like it's about to rain. Um, Days going quick. Anyway, it's been a busy week so far, and it's only Tuesday, but not too bad as it was before. Like I had so many things on my plate before, and it was just crazy. But things are winding down now a little, so that's great news. So, guys, hope you all are doing well, and let's get into this topic of discussion today. So, remember, for those who stop by, that this is a no judgment channel. We're here to uplift people. We all have something, right? We all have a story to tell. However, we all can heal from any scars and abuse and pain from the stories um, that you know that we encounter in our life. So let's get into this topic of discussion. The title is Verbal and Physical Abuse is Never Okay. Keep on healing. When I think about these topics, a lot of times it's when I'm driving, and all of these different titles and topics that I'm going through on these videos are things that I actually encounter in my own life. So that's why I talk about it. I never use names and places. Even when it comes to male female terms, I don't use that either, um, because I don't want to get into a situation where I'm using names and all of that stuff, because it's not good to do that, especially on here. So, with that being said, everybody, um, physical or verbal abuse is never okay. When I think about family, when I think about relationships, friendships, all those things are supposed to enhance our life and not bring hell to it. Especially, guys, when I think about family, I think about the Waltons. How many of you know the show that comes on, the Waltons? Um, I used to watch that as a child growing up, and always wanted to have a family like that because they were, solid. And everybody lived together, the grandparents, the parents, the children, and the grandparents there helped with everything. They cooked, they did everything together. And when I think about the family, I think about the foundation of a house. If there's a crack in a foundation, then if nothing is done about it, then other parts of that foundation will crack. And eventually the house is not on solid ground. And that's how it is with families. Back in the day, people pulled their weight. And if one family member or two were lagging behind or dealing with something, everybody came together to help. And if that family member was falling because of whatever, they all lifted that family member up and they all came to the rescue to help. And the family is the foundation. And so they put the foundation back together. And the grandparents were the matriarch of the foundation of the families. Now, what I see happening is that the matriarchs are dying off, and a family doesn't have that solid foundation as it did. And, when I look at the Waltons, that's what I think about. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with relationships of any sort today, is that abuse is never okay. Whether it's a love, romantic relationship, family, no matter where it's coming from, verbal and physical abuse is never okay. Family, friends, relationships, all these things are supposed to enhance our life, not bring hell to it. And if it's bringing hell to it, no matter what it is, I disconnect from it. And yesterday I gave a video and I talked a little bit about abuse within a 10-year relationship. The part about that is that the person who I spent the 10 years with, had a good standing in the church, sung in a choir, and everybody had a lot of respect for this person. Oh wow, and I thought I was getting, like I said, soulmate, and until the demon monster side came out. And it was just, for me, for a long time I was in shock, because like it just felt like it came out of left field. However, people, there are signs to every situation. We have to see the signs for what they are and not make excuses for them and brush it off as if it's something else. Because, like I say today, after all this healing and learning lessons, if it's walking and quacking like a duck, then it must be a duck. I'm not going to call it something else. And if I'm being shown something, if people are showing you something, believe it. Don't cast it off as a bad day or something, especially when it keeps repeating itself. And it's important that we look at that, because it can save our life, because we could be getting into situations, that are not only not good for us, but can create some serious repercussions in our life. So look at the red flags, pay attention to your intuition, listen to that, because your intuition may save your life. I made a decision a while ago when I got on this journey to heal and looked at my life and everything in it, that the next relationship that I have is going to be quite different than what I had in the past. Because I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to jump in because something looks good or whatever the case may be, because those things are impulsive. I'm going to take my time, get to know that person, and see where that goes. We all have something. None of us are perfect. We all have our ways. But I'm not talking about having some kind of mood or whatever, bad day. I'm talking about things that can tear up your life. um a person, signs of abuse, and there are signs of it, but ignoring the red flags will create larger and bigger situations in our life later on. So I made a decision to never accept any kind of physical or verbal abuse in my life ever again, no matter where it's coming from. Um, Cut off, block, and delete is what I do today. I always say in these videos that love and light is the answer, because we live in a world today, guys, with full of hate and wickedness, and people just disrespecting others. And I even see children disrespecting their parents, telling them go F themselves and things like that. And I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if I would have ever said that to my mother or father, I would be laying on the ground. I don't know about you guys, but high levels of disrespect today, and people see that as being the norm. And we have a huge situation today with these things, and we have to pay attention to what's going on around us so that we don't get caught up in it. It's so easy to get caught up in these things, and that's why I'm always emphasizing love and light is the answer. Healing is the key factor to improve in our lives. And the way we heal, the way I heal, I don't tell anybody else. I just share my story, because if it resonates with you, you can take the pieces out of the story and apply it within your own situation to, improve yourself, to see if it improves your life. But for me, no, as I stay on this journey to heal, I'm embracing new beginnings. I have shut so many doors that today I'm embracing new beginnings, and there are good people out there in this world. I know I talk a lot about, the negativity and the toxicity, you know, because people who come to this, stop by this video need to hear it, and then find ways to heal those things. But there are good people in this world, genuine people, and we can connect to them. But first, like I always talk about two doors. You can't open up a second door if you have the first door open with toxicity, and you haven't healed and closed those doors. For me, I had to close those doors and padlock them so that I can go into a space of healing, so that I can heal the pain, the grief, the scars, and to, you know, um, put myself back together again, sort of like Humpty Dumpty, right, guys? And put myself back together again and the pieces, and to heal, and then take care of myself so that I can be the best of me before I can give to anybody or anything else. And that's the key factor, is healing. Because healing is, when we decide to heal, we're healing every aspect of our life, our mental and physical, because without that, we can't do anything else for ourselves or anyone else, and then we can give to other situations when we are healing. And no, healing is an ongoing journey, it's a never ending journey, but when you heal certain things, it helps you not to repeat those lessons. Because, guys, I repeated so many lessons that these lessons, when they come back around, especially a second or third time, it's no joke. They can be brutal, worse than the first time. And I had to repeat and repeat. And as it got worse, and to the point that I just had to heal, and that's where I am now. And then you start to self-care, self-love, and then you start to see things get better in your life. I stay in prayer, asking God to help me. And for a while, I had the past trying to break down the door, is a metaphor I'm using, to come back, reconcile. There is no reconciling, because I gave everything within me and what I had to the past, and nothing was given back to me. So I don't owe the past anything. I owe me everything to heal, to grow, evolve. And I owe God for saving my life and for helping me to heal and to grow. Because without God, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. I wouldn't even be here today. And I know that. And I respect that. And I make vows, that I can keep. And one of them is to be on this channel to help other people. Because, like I said, I don't know who's watching, if you've seen a video before, because I've done so many. One where I talked about someone who encouraged me and motivated me while he was going through his own situations, committed suicide. And it left me like speechless, shocked, and so, hurt behind it. So you never know what people are going through. So when we're outside and we're not in our own space and we're out there, and someone just wants to take 5 minutes to talk, perhaps you should let them do that, because you don't know where that person is in their life. You don't know if they're on the brink of the edge, and just 5 minutes of your time might make a difference between life and death for that individual. Because some people don't talk about what they're going through. It's like a ton of bricks that they're carrying, and they're trying to carry it up that hill. They're trying to step up that hill with those bricks, and they can no longer carry them. And this is why I always use that metaphor and say, take those bricks off your back. And what I do is transmute them to God. And when people from the past try to come back with that BS and that toxicity, and this is going to happen if you don't let me back in, blah, blah, cut off, block, and delete. And I transmute the energy and give that toxicity to God. And believe me, what I'm telling you, as I do that and God take that on, it goes right back to them. And they're so burdened with that they don't have time to think about what I'm doing, how I'm doing, or whatever. Because when you close doors, people need to respect that and move on. Because you can't force someone to be in your life. And if that person was in your life and they were a blessing to your life, and they were encouraging you, nurturing and helping you, and you were spitting on them, shitting on them, and being abusive, they have every right to leave. Cut off, block, and delete. They have every right to do that. No one is here for somebody to abuse them, to put them down, to make them feel less than zero. No one has a right to do that to another person, you know? And like I said, narcissistic individuals, they will charm you and make you think they're the best thing out here. And then they could be your worst nightmare once they get you under their grips, because it's like a fish on a hook. They reel you in and make you think that they're the best thing out here when they're your worst nightmare. And this is why I always talk about looking at the red flags, because it will tell you how that story is going to unfold, you know, by looking at how the situation is going. And I'm not talking about somebody had a bad day, they're in a bad mood. I'm talking about serious stuff that can affect your life moving forward. That's why it's important to take your time, with decisions that you make and the people that you allow in your life, in your space, because sometimes they get a chokehold on you and they don't want to let it go. And as I was closing those doors, I was finding this out. People didn't want to let go. No, you ain't going nowhere. And that's going to happen. And I uprooted myself and took myself out of that environment and moved away from it and relocated from it. And, the phone calls and things like that, calling and doing things. What I can tell you about my experience, especially dealing with narcissistic people, controlling people, hateful individuals, my silence is the best medicine for it all. Silence. And if anyone comes near me, uh, you know, not, restraining order, locked up, there's a lot of things that will happen that they will regret. Because when I say I don't want to be bothered, that means that I've done everything within my power to resolve the situation. And the last resolution is cut off, block, and delete. And no one has a right to try to force, you know, their way back in your life. You know, that's abusive as well. Following someone, trying to find out what they're doing, who they're dating, what's going on in their life is harassment. And the person can get a restraining order against you for those things because it's intrusive, and there's no reason for it. If someone doesn't want to be bothered, you have to move on, whether you want to or not. And if you force the issue, then you can see yourself getting locked up. It's not worth it, you know. But to an abuser, they use abuse to try to do that. And for me, as I healed those things, my silence is the best medicine for all of it. So as it's like that noise, you're on top of a mountain and you hear this loud noise, right? And then as you get up higher and higher, it sounds fainter and fainter until you don't hear the noise at all. And that's how it is when you start this healing journey. At first, people are not going to be happy about it. Some people. Some people will cheer you on and want to see you grow and do better in your life. But those who are the abusive, toxic ones, then they don't want to see that because they don't have a chokehold on you anymore. They don't have you under their grip, so they're not going to want to see that. And sometimes when they don't have control anymore, because when you start to heal and grow, you're taking your power back as well. You're transferring the power back, you're snatching it back from the person who took it back to the rightful owner, which is yourself. You don't give your power to anyone else, you keep that. And then they do things like throwing a tantrum like a 2-year-old. The lies on you, the malicious lies, the gossip, saying you did things that you would never do. And one of the things I want to say about that is, how do people say things about other people to others and nobody investigate to see if these things are true? They just get on a bandwagon. So it tells me they're already in a place of toxicity just to even get on a bandwagon of something negative without investigating to see if these things are true. So I leave it where it is. Stay in prayer. I transmute all that, give it to God. Now they're no longer coming against me, they're coming against God, because all of that has been transmuted to him to take those burdens, and he will take those burdens for us. When you're really serious about changing for the better, and healing is transforming your life, because you're taking all that pain and stuff and you're transforming it. you know. When you heal, it turns into scars. Even though you went through that, and then eventually you can be on the path to be a testimony and a blessing to somebody else, because there's a lot of people out here that might have need to hear the story, because they may be currently going through these things, or they may have gone through them and they don't know how to get out of it. So my first suggestion is always therapy, because that's where I started, with a therapist who I still see to this day, on a weekly basis, because it's important. That was the stepping stone for me to transform and to heal my life. And I have those up days and I have those down days, but I do want to have new beginnings, new friends, and I'm creating that slowly, little by little. And as I, continue to heal, continue to, um, keep the vows that I made with God and continue to pray and move forward, I'm starting to see that slowly, you know, and nothing ventured is nothing gained. So continue to move forward, even though you don't feel like it. And I'll give you guys an example and then I have to go. Like today, it was raining earlier, it's cloudy, and in the morning, just when I just had my break and I was sitting outside the gym, I did not want to work out today. So I sat there for half an hour in my car listening to music, just putting on a playlist of music after another, because it changes my mood. It lifts it up. And then I was able to get out and go into the gym, and I worked out for about 20 minutes. And then, so whatever you need to do to motivate yourself, sometimes when you know you need to do things and you don't feel like it, do so. If music helps you, or playing an instrument, or whatever it is, listening to some videos, inspiring videos, do whatever it is to motivate yourself so that you can stay on a path, because it's not easy, guys. We have our good days and our bad days, but I promise you, as you continue to do so, it will be worth it. That is the message today. This is Lisa, always lifting you up, encouraging you to continue to move forward, and share these videos with others. Subscribe to the channel, invite them to do the same, and let's keep showing up so that we can talk about ways to get through this pain. Healing is the key factor. Thank you for being here today. This is Lisa, and I'll see you guys again sometime tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll know when I'm here. Guys, have a great day, and bye for now.